Okay, a recording about really quite awful weather conditions. It's not raining too much at the moment. Let me just turn the radio down where electric vehicles are being talked about. Very interesting. 10 times expansion expected in the next 3 years from Octopus Energy. So I've checked around, I'm moving off. I'm going to mute the radio. Interesting that the next generation of this car has wireless integration between my Apple iPhone and the car itself to display information on screen. But in the last week or two, I've actually come to realise that I can do most of the control of text messaging, calendar to a small extent for booking lessons, and well, yes, making adjustments to lessons by voice. So I'm going to go left. I'm going to put my wipers back on. I've got a little symbol on my instrument cluster to say that the wipers are on. I'm watching cars coming towards me, adjusting their position because of recent rainfall. You can perhaps see in front the dark grey clouds. So I'm checking to the right, having checked behind, no traffic following, checking to the side road. We've had quite a lot of wind yesterday in this part of the country, and that's brought down a lot of leaves. The temperature overnight has been dropping a few nights now, so a lot of leaves have let go of their branches and been blown to the floor, and now with the rain those are clogging up drains. So because the gullies off the roads are getting clogged with vegetation, fallen leaves in other words, the water tends to gather often at junctions where the slope of the road will change, and also often at dropped curbs, especially where there are pedestrian crossings. So pedestrians may try and leap across the puddle. Here I'm checking my right mirror, moving out to the right because it looked like a darker patch of tarmac, implying that there was more water there. Big puddle on the right is pushing that VW Golf out towards me. Puddle on my side, I've checked the right mirror before coming out. You might even hear the sound of the tyres going through the water. And of course, our grip is much poorer when we're riding on water. The capillary action of the tread on the tyres won't be able to keep up with the quantity of water that the tyres are trying to suck up from the road surface and then throw out the back as the tyre rotates. So, very dark clouds ahead, probably exaggerated by the fact we've got bright sun coming in, so I'm checking I know how to get hold of my sun visor if I might need it as I go through junctions and turning right and left. No pedestrians are on the left hand side until this lady with the bag, so I'm going to move out towards the middle of the road in case there were some puddles I hadn't spotted. A lot of leaves after all gathering in the left hand gutter, and the roundabout's got quite a bit of water on it on the inside, so checking what people are doing, checking what line I'm going to take to avoid that water, give myself the best grip. Quite hard to identify zebra crossings as well because of the wet road surface and the leaves, making it sometimes difficult to see the edge of the road. I'm aware I'm going to be coming into a much greater rainfall before too long because of that dark sky. So once again I'm checking that my lights are on. I've got some little green symbols of dipped headlights on my instruments, and that my wipers are set up to automatically come on if suddenly another vehicle throws water onto me, or if the heavens open and there's a sudden deluge of rain. So as usual, making eye contact with the Range Rover, waiting to emerge from the side road on the left. Red jacketed person clearing the pedestrian crossing in front, lowering my speed, covering the brake, watching the learner Mercedes coming the other way, little courtesy gesture to them, bringing my speed back up from the mid-20s to the late 20s, reminding myself which gear I've got, going into gear 4. If my fingers make contact with the head of the gear lever, which they're not at the moment, it's the wrist, then if my fingers make contact when I reach down from the wheel, then it's first, third or fifth, as it's my fingers, F's all round, 4 F's. That confirms what gear I'm in. Engine's booming a little bit, but I don't want to change gear on the junction to keep my attention on the traffic. Car's still picking up okay at 22 on a flat road. Now I can look at my rev counter, it's still 1,500, 1,400 revs, now coming down to 1250, now 1100, now 1000, so clutch goes down and into gear 1 as we coast the final couple of meters to a stop. Nothing's moving in front. I'm not looking at the back end of the white car, I'm looking through its window to the red Ford that's in front. Now that red Ford's moving, so checking the door mirrors and moving towards the Poppy Island on the north end of Shirley High Street, looking to the right, checking I've got time to move out but also space to move into. Just about got one car's length that I can put my car into to pause at the traffic light, straightening up to minimise how much space I might be obstructing in the roundabout for traffic coming through other lanes. Once again, checking door mirrors because I've got free road space either side, so I could have somebody moving from there. Mirrors and signal, make sure nobody's pushing through from the right, and heading once more towards the dark clouds. Maybe those are the ones that have just rained here, and they're actually moving away rather faster than the 25 miles an hour that I'm going. Who knows? Certainly the sun's behind us, which makes it very easy for us to see forwards, but of course anybody coming the other way has a very difficult job of seeing, so I've got to bear that in mind when I'm considering me keeping myself visible and my intentions understood in terms of, for example, avoiding puddles. So, as usual, in all driving situations, but especially if it's more hazardous because of the weather or the lighting conditions, I am trying to adjust my speed and my direction as smoothly and as gently as possible, so I'm the most predictable I can be. A very boring way to drive, exactly the opposite of exciting video games, for example, but the best way for people of all sorts of mixed abilities, ages, temperaments, emotional states, to be able to interpret me in good time and adjust their plan in a safe way. So still the same little blue VW behind, traffic signals changing, she's paying good attention, she's probably my age, she's not checked the mirror before signalling, and I'm going to stop here just in case anybody wants to get into the cemetery, although it looks fairly flooded over there. But still looking pretty bright, completely clear blue sky on my right hand side, so that tells me I can rely on shadows that might be coming from that side to help me see further along the road if there's a large vehicle in front that's blocking my direct view. And it feels like a good few seconds have gone by. I can't see the colour of the traffic signals in the other direction, but I'm going to start to prep my car, clutch, gear, a little bit of gas and bite. Got a curb either side of me, and there's nobody coming through either side, emergency vehicles or people that have not seen the red traffic light holding them up from left and right, so a signal wasn't really necessary there. Up into gear 3, paying a little bit of attention to the sound of my own engine, but the most important thing by far is my speed, followed very closely by my direction. That car waiting to come from the right hand side of the road's got a very difficult job with that Go Local extra large lorry blocking its view. Maybe it's using shadows on the road surface to see what might be coming. Pedestrians may well have their hoods up, so when they turn their head to try and look across the road to see if it's safe to walk across, they might not get the best view or the best hearing, so I'm conscious of that. And if I do need to stop in a hurry on their behalf, of course, I've got less grip on the road. Hard to see markings. I can just pick out that lane number 1 is a left only, so I definitely want lane 2. Checking the gear, big flood on the right hand side, traffic moving through cautiously because you never know what's underneath the surface of the water. It's obviously a lower point, and you can prime yourself to be ready to deal with that sort of thing. If you sense that your road is going downwards, of course, that's where the water is going to collect. I have seen 1 or 2 drain covers belching out surplus water, so maybe they're blocked somewhere in the pipe at the moment with leaves, but I don't think there's been so much rain so suddenly that any drain covers are going to explode underneath my car. Another big flood on the right for that light van approaching the side road on the right. I will put cruise control on now so that I can rest my feet. No hazards ahead apart from this pair of, I wouldn't even call them puddles really, probably about an inch deep. But a change in the lighting pattern on the road surface tells me whether my grip is going to be different and therefore whether I need to adjust my road position slightly to maintain best possible grip. My feet are enjoying having a bit of a rest and the blood is circulating more freely now. I can feel the temperature of my feet and my legs changing. Large puddle on the left, so checking to the right, coming out to the left of sector, skirting that puddle, checking left and coming back in. Bicycles and motorbikes, of course, they're going to be more vulnerable to losing grip, having only 2 tyres, and thin ones at that. So I'm watching out for any of them. Haven't seen any in the last few minutes, so perhaps they've taken a break in the bad weather from staying on the road until the rain's actually stopped. It's going to make the bicycles and the motorbikes harder to navigate because the rider won't be able to keep their head up so comfortably looking ahead. And if they're wearing a helmet on a motorbike, their ears might be blocked from helping to understand exactly what direction that motor vehicles are coming from. Electric vehicles are going to be harder to hear. So some temporary roadwork signs, but they look like they're talking about the pavement. The road, of course, does cover the public highway for pedestrians as well. I'm turning right. Same lady still following the VW. She's keeping a nice distance. I'm going into gear 1, having checked the space to move into. My car's still in motion at about half a mile an hour, but I haven't got a gap, so I'm going to bring it to a stop, secure it in case I get struck behind, and have my hands set up ready to move off. Rechecking to the right, including in my door mirrors, to make sure it is still safe to change direction. My windscreen wipers aren't now clearing the drops that have come down from the trees, which are causing a bit of interference with me interpreting against the sunlight low contrast things like dark clad pedestrians and bicycles, and I'm approaching the entrance to a railway station where there could be a lot more pedestrians moving across the road. A lot of standing buses certainly implies that. So I'm going to push up my windscreen wiper just to wipe the screen and then signal to say I'm coming into the car park. This little green car's turning left, so I will go around the back of it again, checking my right mirror, checking the pavement, and moving around to pick up my student, who I was expecting to be waiting here, so we'll see by texting where she might be ahead of her driving test. And secure, wipers off, headlights can stay in the auto position, and engine off.